Dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true.
We met when I had come home from a summer camp. It was between 7th and 8th grade.
We first met at my new house. I moved up to Churchill High School.
One of my best girlfriends, Jennifer, lived right next door to Shane, but at that time I didn't know that.
She had a friend and invited her over.
She took me over and introduced us. So when that was, I was 13.
Yeah, that's where I first met her, right there next door to my house.
Our first date, to my recollection, was one of our parents took us to the movies, because that's what you did a lot when you were young, and we saw Dirty Dancing. That was our very first date movie, and you know, we had a good time, and then our parents would pick us up, and that was kind of our dates back then.
That was always fun. It was always fun too. Our parents took us, and we always were in the back seat doing things that we probably shouldn't have been doing.
We were very kissy-kissy and couldn't really pull us apart.
We've definitely seen our fair share of school dances. You know, there's proms, there's homecomings, there's just your typical dance.
Our first big formal dance we went to was I took him to my 8th grade dance, and we have these really funny photos of me in my pink dress and him in his acid wash jeans and pink cummerbund and tie, and so yeah, we thought we were pretty hot stuff back then. Shane and I have had such a long journey. I mean, I was head over heels in love with him when we were young, and then we went our separate ways.
We spent probably 8 years apart, and we're able to kind of live our own lives and figure out what we really, really wanted out of a person.
Shane and I saw each other at Abel, one of our very good friends, Shane's best friend, at his wedding.
I was, of course, very, very excited to see her because I've always loved her. I've always had a special place for her in my heart, and we were there and talked through the reception and kind of parted afterwards.
I realized after that night that we really had no other reason to see each other again, and I burst out crying because I couldn't imagine my life without him. I couldn't imagine that for the rest of my life that he wasn't going to be a part of that. And so I would say for me, that was probably the first major realization as an adult that I couldn't imagine my life without Shane.
The rest is kind of history there. We started kind of seeing each other on and off. I was making the long commute, still living in Eugene, coming to see her on Portland.
Eventually he moved up to Portland and we bought a home.
And we're best friends. I mean, I think that's truly where Heather makes me most happy is, I mean, heck, we've known each other for 3/4 of our life already.
Sometimes I think you have to have a long road and have a lot of life experience to kind of figure out who really knows you and who is really going to stand by you for the long haul.
I can't put it any other way. I mean, she is definitely the one.
Ooh, baby, let's stay together, loving you.
just came to see. You'd never do that to me, would you, baby? Being around you is all I see. Is what I want to do. We ought to stay together, loving you weather, times are good and bad, happiness and come on, let's stay together, loving you weather.
I wanted to do something memorable, and I wanted to do something over the top. She's in the bridal industry. She's heard many of proposals and heard many of things, and I wanted to make sure that ours was something that we would remember. There's a nature trail. Her house is down the hill from where I used to live, probably, I don't know, a mile or so, and there's basically a sidewalk that runs up and through the houses up to my house. And I remember the very first time when we were dating, you know, of course, holding hands and whatnot, that we had our first real kiss. So I decided to do it on that nature trail. I figured that's probably the first time that I really, really fell in love with her on that nature trail.
It was on Sunday, and we drove down from Portland to Eugene, and we were hanging out with my parents for the day.
We went out to dinner with some friends. I had called up some of my buddies from work in Salem and had them come down with some Christmas tree lights and decided to kind of decorate the whole entire area.
I had said to Shane earlier in the day that we should go reminisce and drive up where I used to live and stuff like that, and he very casually to me was like, no, you know, maybe we'll do that later. You know, we're kind of rushed for time right now, but we can do that later.
Luckily, we'd got on the conversation about memory lane and things, you know, back in high school and remember this and remember that. And so it led in perfectly that I kind of stopped by there and said, hey, you remember this nature trail?
Later that night after we had dinner, he said, oh, you know how we were talking about reminiscing? He's like, why don't we go do that?
Believe it or not, I wasn't nervous at all until I got on the nature trail. And it's probably because there was two of my buddies hiding in the bushes, ready to turn the lights on, and one trying to work a video camera through the bushes.
We took about 2 or 3 steps up it, and all of a sudden all these white twinkle lights went on. And he just kind of turned to me and in the middle of the nature trail and did his thing, and he got down on one knee and asked me to marry him, and I gleefully said yes.
The look on her face was what I remember. Just the joy, the excitement, the anticipation. I think that was the greatest thing, was just seeing her face.
It's just, you know, I have a great story, so good job, honey.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who could make me be true.
I'm looking forward to being in front of our family and letting them see and telling the world how I feel about you and why we're so great together, and just having all of our friends and family who are so excited for us right there with us, and just the whole celebration of us. I'm excited that we finally get to share with the whole world why we're so great together.
I want to tell her that thank you. Thank you for making me happy. Thank you for being a support. Thank you for your understanding. If you know a Matheny, you know we're not very easy guys to deal with. We're kind of pig-headed, we're bull-strong, we kind of put our mind to something and no one gets in our way, but Heather understands that, and she knows how to be a guide and at the same time an influence. And I don't know, I guess I can't really say anything other than thank you for making me happy. I mean, thank you for everything.
Relationships are difficult. They're hard and they're wonderful and they take a lot of work and all these different things, but every day I wake up and I feel more loved than any woman could feel or dreams of feeling. Every single day I just wake up and I feel so special, and I just love you. You know, you get me on every level, and it's really hard to find somebody who loves you for the real person that you are. Even though I'm a strong person by myself, and I'm stubborn, and I'm loving, and I have all these different quirks about me, you love me no matter what, and I just want you to know that I love you no matter what. We're strong people apart, but we just make sense together. We just make sense, and I'm so excited after all these years that we're finally gonna tie the knot, and I love you so much, and I'm so excited for tomorrow, because by the time you watch this, it'll be tomorrow. So I just love you, and thank you for what's the rest of our lives.
For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. Baby, it had to be you, wonderful you. Had to be you.